A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everybody, and welcome to A+ English. I'm Pat.
I'm Elsie.
Now, we often like to bring you some fun topics when we teach you A+ lessons, but sometimes we do need to talk about serious stuff too that is important for you guys to learn about. And we're going to do that today by looking at something that's been happening in Iran over the last sort of months. People are protesting about a law there. So that leads us to our warm-up question, which is, which laws do you want to change and why?
Which laws in my country do I want to change?
Let's go with Taiwan.
It's really a hard question. How about you start first? Let me think about it.
I mean, I really would. Maybe there are laws, but they could be kind of more strongly enforced. I mean, all around the world, I would just like New Zealand is pretty much banning smoking. It's kind of making it harder and harder for people to smoke. I think the whole world could follow that kind of law and stop people, just make it impossible for people to legally buy cigarettes. Because I'm kind of fed up of people smoking around me and my kids all the time.
Like instead of putting scary pictures on the packs.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about that. So why not just ban it?
Yeah, I would do that, to be honest. So that's a law I would like to change. Have you got any others you can think of?
Personally, I don't really want to change anything, but I know there are some people trying to change the voting age.
Yeah, that was on the ballot last year, wasn't it? About letting 18-year-olds vote. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. 18-year-olds should be able to vote. That's definitely a good idea. But what law is being protested against in Iran and has been for some time? Let's read on.
Women in Iran protest hijab law. Warm-up question. Which laws do you want to change? Why?
People in Iran are protesting after a woman's death in September 2022. The woman, Mahsa Amini, 22, was arrested because her clothes didn't follow hijab law. This says women must dress modestly. Hijab law began in Iran after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police and taken into police custody. She died from being beaten. Other arrests like this are happening around the country. Many women are burning their hijabs in protest. Police are beating and shooting at protesters. At least 224 protesters have died. Public opinion shows that Iranian women want hijab law to end. They want control over their bodies, clothes, and lives.
So the article begins and says people in Iran are protesting after a woman's death in September 2022. So it's been months and the protests, I think, are still ongoing.
这边呢，我们看到抗议的动词，好，或者是你要说反对也可以，是 protest or protest。
Yep.
那2022年9月之后啊，伊朗人民就开始一场抗争，那是在一个妇女死亡之后。
Yeah, it just means that everybody's kind of taking action and saying, we're not happy with this. We want this situation to be changed. We are showing you as a group that this is not good. So we could say many truck drivers protested when the government raised the price of gas.
那再来呢，抗争行动啊，这个字也可以当名词用，就是 protest。
Yep.
那抗议的人是 protesters。
Right, exactly. Have you ever protested against anything?
No.
I protested against tuition fees.
Oh.
Like, I didn't think students
When you were in college?
Before I was in college.
Okay.
So I didn't think students should have to pay quite so much to go to university. Okay, so let's find out more about the incident that started these protests. This woman and what happened to her. We see the woman, Mahsa Amini, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, 22, so we see she was 22 years old, was arrested because her clothes didn't follow hijab law.
OK， 那我们先看到第一个动词 arrest 这个字怎么解释跟怎么使用咯。Arrest 这个动词呢，代表逮捕、拘捕，那它的主动和被动态都是很常见的。给同学们一个例句咯 The police arrested her for drinking and driving. 这个就是一个主动的用法，说的是警方逮捕她，因为她酒驾。那再来第二个 3 months later, the murderer was finally arrested. 这边就是一个被动用法，代表3个月之后，那一名谋杀犯终于被逮捕了。那单字例句给的是呢 The police arrested someone this morning because he stole a car. 警察今天早上逮捕了一个人，因为他偷了一辆车。
And of course, we're using the passive voice here because we know it's the police who are arresting people. That's what they do. They're one of the only people who can arrest someone. So we could say the man was arrested for stealing things from a department store.
那再来我们讲到的头巾令 hijab law， 它规定呢，所有妇女还有7岁以上的女童在公共场合都要佩戴那个头巾。并且要穿着这宽松的衣服来掩饰她的身材，所以我们的故事主角 Mahsa Amini 22岁的她呢，因为没有符合这项规定而被逮捕。
Right, so this law, this rule basically says all women in Iran must wear hijabs, even non-Muslims and visitors from abroad. So if you went there on a vacation, you'd have to wear one.
就算不是穆斯林，就算你是到那边玩的游客，你还是要戴。
Yep. So the article explains more and says this says women must dress modestly. So it's not just about the headgear, it's about everything.
Modestly 这个副词代表穿着端庄的、得体的，所以他们觉得女性要穿衣服端庄。
Right, no short skirts, no showing skin, a lot of that stuff. I mean, sometimes you should dress modestly, like you should dress modestly for a job interview.
Yeah, for a formal occasion.
Exactly, but this law, it matches Muslim law, but a lot of people say it's going too far. The article says hijab law began in Iran after the 1979 Islamic Revolution.
1979年的伊斯兰革命之后呢，伊朗政府就颁布了这个头巾令。
Yeah, basically it's a change in government. The religious people kind of took the country over. We see in the article, Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police and taken into police custody. So this isn't just the normal police. This is a special group of police and other people who make sure hijab law is followed, but also check that other Islamic practices are being followed, which means that you can't do things like hold hands on the street or, kiss somebody on the street, lots of other strict stuff like that.
所以这群警察呢，被叫做 morality police， 也就是道德警察。那他负责呢，在公众场合执行伊斯兰教服仪的这个规范法律。所以他们就会看是不是有女性穿着太暴露啦，露出太多身体的部位啦，或者是太浓的妆容也不行哦。You can't have too heavy makeup.
Right, that too, yeah.
那再来，如果你违反这项规定，你会被监禁。我们看到 custody 这个字，名词代表就是监禁、拘留。所以 Amini 他就是被伊朗的道德警察逮捕，然后监禁。
So police custody means that you've kind of been arrested. You're in the jail, you're waiting something before you're released. We could also talk about custody if somebody is officially looking after you. The young boy was given into the custody of his uncle after his parents passed away, or the police took the drunk driver into custody. So that was bad enough that she got arrested just for not doing this, but we see she died from being beaten. Okay, this idea died from means it shows the cause of death. We could say someone died from cancer, he died from heart failure, and so on.
Die from 后面加上 VNG 或是一个名词 代表的意思是呢，死于死于疾病，死于意外。So she died from being bitten.
Which is terrible.
What does beaten mean? 我们来看一下吧。课文中我们看到的 beaten， 它的原型是 beat， 代表是接连的打跟击的动作。那三态是 beat, beat, beaten. So for example, she beat her son with the stick， 代表她用棍子去打她的儿子。那beat 还有打败的意思哦，像是我们可以说 Jenny always beats me at badminton， 代表 Jenny 跟我打羽毛球的时候总是会赢我。那另外呢 beat 还可以当作心脏跳动的这个意思来解释，像是呢 Do you feel your heart beat faster when you are nervous？ 你紧张的时候会不会觉得心脏跳得更快？那单字例句给的是呢 It's never okay to beat animals. We should be nice to them. 殴打动物是绝对不可以的，我们应该善待动物。
We could also say the angry father beat his son and his son ran away from home. So Amini is not the only person in Iran to have this happen to them. The article says other arrests like this are happening around the country.
OK， 那 other arrests。Arrest 这边当的是名词哦，怎么使用呢 ？Let's take a look。Arrest 在这个句子里面呢，当的是名词的用法。好，一样也是解释为逮捕、拘捕。那被逮捕的话呢，要用名词，你可以用 be under arrest。So for example, you're under arrest. 你被逮捕了。那课文例句给的是呢 After his arrest, Eddie called his lawyer for help. 遭到逮捕之后 ，Eddie 就打电话给他的律师求助。那课文说到啊，其他像是这样的案件呢，层出不穷 ，so many cases like this.
Right, and this kind of treatment is not just, people aren't just taking it. People are actually saying, hold on, this is going way too far. This is unfair. We see in the article, many women are burning their hijabs in protest.
很多女性呢就以烧头巾来抗议，所以这边的 in protest 代表的是名词，抗争行动，刚刚有提到。
Yeah, in protest means as an act of protest. This is what they're doing to show we're not happy. And it's not just women. There's a lot of people, men as well, who are getting involved. If you guys saw any of Iran's games, certainly against England at the World Cup, the Iran team did not sing their country's national song. So they were basically saying, we're not happy, we're not proud of our country right now. We'll play for you, but we're not singing your song. So the article talks about how the authorities are responding. It says, police are beating and shooting at protesters.
Protesters 我们刚才讲到是抗议人士，所以警方们不但去打他们，还有 shooting at protesters. 那 shoot 这个字什么意思呢？来看一下吧。shoot 这个动词呢，在这边解释为开枪射杀。那它的三态是 shoot, shot, shot。So for example, don't shoot, I'm not armed. 不要开枪，我没有武器。那再来啊 shoot 也可以当作球类比赛当中的射门或是投球，所以 shoot the ball 那就是投球的动作。那如果你听到人家问你说啊 Do you want to shoot some baskets? 他在问你什么呢？他在问你的是想不想要打篮球 Do you want to play basketball? 那单字例句给的是呢 The police officer took out her gun and shot the bad guy in his leg. 那一名警察拿出他的枪之后，在坏人的脚上开了一枪。
We could also say the bad guy had a gun and said he would shoot the bank workers if they didn't give him money. So the police, the morality police and the regular police are fighting the protesters. We see at least 224 protesters have died.
所以警方殴打抗议人士，还对他们开枪射杀，所以至少有224名的抗争者就这样子去世了。
And we're recording this article before you guys read it. So that number is probably a lot higher now. And a lot of people support what the women are doing. The article says public opinion shows that Iranian women want hijab law to end.
Public opinion 这个字什么意思呢？我们来看一下吧。Opinion 这个名词啊，代表的是意见。那特别在课文中说的是 public opinion， 那就是公众的意见、民意。那再来 一个人的意见或是公众的意见，我们都要尊重。我们可以用 respect 这个动词 ，respect one's opinion。那如果你要表达自身意见的时候，你可以用这样子的开头 ，in my opinion。So for example, in my opinion, I don't think you should quit。在我的意见看来，你不应该辞职。那单词例句给的是呢 ，The students' opinion is to change the rules about wearing uniforms。学生们的意见是要修改穿制服的规定。
So public opinion is what the public thinks, what most people think. We've also got individual opinions. Tom's opinion is that people should not have to pay lots of money for school or medicine. He thinks governments should pay for this.
那再来呢，我们还看到 that 引导的名词子句。我们先进 Magic Box 听讲师讲解咯。
Magic Box。
哎呀，虽然呢我5条我可说是现在世界上最强的咒术师，哎呀，什么特级咒灵我可没放在眼里。可是呢，像我学生把这个封印1000年的手指吞下去，可真是吓了我一跳啊。The fact that he could swallow that ancient finger without hurting himself shocked me. 不是啊，那喉咙不会痛吗？不会拉肚子吗？哎呦！今天的任务呢，就是来认识一下 that 这个特别的字啦。大家呢应该知道一个句子不外乎主词、动词、受词。The fact shocked me， 这个事实吓坏了我。但这样讲怎么知道是什么事实呢？要补充说明呢，我们就要在句子里面加入另外一个句子。此时呢，这个加进去的句子就是名词子句啦。而要连接名词子句呢，我们就需要用 that 来引导咯。The fact that he could swallow that ancient finger without hurting himself shocked me. 这里that 引导呢，它可以吞下古老手指还不受伤这件事情呢，这个呢就是 the fact 的同位语补充说明。这个呢，也就是我们 that 引导名词子句的用法啦。that 引导的子句呢有很多用途除了这个刚刚讲到同位语之外呢，它也可以当作主词It surprised all my students that I can teleport myself immediately. 这边呢 it 是虚主词， that 后面的整句话才是真主词了。我可以瞬间移动的这件事情吓了我学生们。that 引导的名词子句呢也可以当作受词我们呢可以把这整个句子放在动词后面，像是呢我出任务前呢跟我的同事说，我晚点呢会顺便带甜点回来。I said that I would be back later with some sweets.OK, that 引导的句子呢还有什么用法呢？它可以当补语补充说明。例如呢，我们昨天去出任务，这个咒灵呢不是多厉害，但是呢我还是建议大家 My suggestion is that you should be careful about everything around you. 我的建议就是呢，不论如何呢要小心that 引导的这一整句呢，就是主词 my suggestion 的补语。that 引导的子句就是这么好用，你还不赶快学起来？
So back to the article， 我们说到公众的意见显示，伊朗的妇女呢是想要终结这项头巾令的。
Right, the article says they, the women of Iran, they want control over their bodies, clothes, and lives.Want
control over something, control 当的是名词在使用，好，要某事物的控制权。所以伊朗妇女呢，她想要自己的身体、衣服还有生活的控制权。那当然 control 也可以当作动词来使用。
Yeah, so means they want to make their own decisions. They want to have some freedom. We could say Jane's parents try to control everything in her life. That's a verb. She wants to break free from their control. That's a noun. So that's the story of what's going on in Iran, or what has been. That's just a little bit of it. You could find lots more on articles online if you want to read up on it. But that's all we've got time for here, so let's go to today's review time activity.
Review time.
So let's look at some of today's word power and review them in the form of questions. Do you think you could ever shoot someone?
I don't think I could do that ever. Because I don't even know how to hold a gun.
Okay, yeah, that's not something I have a lot of experience. But if it was kind of, person in your house trying to steal your stuff.
Maybe I'll use a knife.
Okay, maybe not a gun. All right. I'm not sure because, who knows until you've been in that situation.
Right.
So next question, have you ever seen the police arrest someone? What happened?
I've never seen that happen in person, but I've seen a lot of cases like that on TV.
Sure, yes, it's often on the news. I have seen police not actually arrest someone, but kind of come up and if there's a trouble causer, kind of take them away, take them out. Maybe they didn't actually arrest them, but they certainly kind of took them away from the area and kind of had a word like, you got to behave now or else you will get arrested.
Did they put handcuffs on the person?
No, I didn't see any handcuffs in use. Okay, we had the word opinion in the article. And the question is, what is one opinion we share and one we don't agree on?
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is one opinion we both share?
What do we both share? I think we both agree. Well, we talked earlier about agreeing on the idea of voting, didn't we?
Okay.
We both agree that 18-year-olds should be allowed to vote.
I didn't actually say I agree with that.
You don't agree with it?
Change. Yes. I'm still thinking about it because in Taiwan, I think teenagers are not that mature compared with the ones in maybe your country or...
Oh, I think British teenagers are very immature, but that's not the point. But come on, I mean, they can get arrested, they can go to jail, they can join the army and be made to join the army, but you can't let them vote?
But they just graduated from high school.
High school at that
And
age?
as you know, we only study.
Yeah, you guys don't actually have classes where... Are there no classes where you talk about society? We had those at school.
Very little.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, that's a problem with the education system. I think 18-year-olds should definitely be allowed to vote because they're treated as adults in pretty much every other respect, except for having a choice about who their leaders are. So, give them that choice. It's the right thing to do. So maybe that's an opinion we don't quite agree on. There we go. We do agree on the opinion that smoking is no fun.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that is all the time we have. Thanks for watching, everybody. For A+ English, I'm Pat.
I'm Elsie.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Women in Iran protest hijab law. Warm-up question. Which laws do you want to change? Why?
People in Iran are protesting after a woman's death in September 2022. The woman, Mahsa Amini, 22, was arrested because her clothes didn't follow hijab law. This says women must dress modestly. Hijab law began in Iran after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police and taken into police custody. She died from being beaten. Other arrests like this are happening around the country. Many women are burning their hijabs in protest. Police are beating and shooting at protesters. At least 224 protesters have died. Public opinion shows that Iranian women want hijab law to end. They want control over their bodies, clothes, and lives. Word power.
Arrest. Arrest. The police arrested someone this morning because he stole a car. The police arrested someone this morning because he stole a car. Arrest. Arrest. After his arrest, Eddie called his lawyer for help. After his arrest, Eddie called his lawyer for help. Beat. 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 Beaten. It's never okay to beat animals. We should be nice to them. It's never okay to beat animals. We should be nice to them. shoot, 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 shot, shot. The police officer took out her gun and shot the bad guy in his leg. The police officer took out her gun and shot the bad guy in his leg. Opinion, opinion. The student's opinion is to change the rules about wearing uniforms. The student's opinion is to change the rules about wearing uniforms.
认识字汇
Protest, 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 protest. Protester, protester. Modestly, modestly. Custody, custody.